Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. Today we'll be looking at how to add and subtract fractions, the addition and subtraction of fractions, and we'll be looking at how to add and subtract like fractions, unlike fractions, and mixed fractions. So this is going to be a very interesting video, and let's get to it. Now, we're starting with like fractions, the addition and the subtraction of like fractions. And we all know that what a like fraction is. A like fraction is a fractions or group of fractions that have the same denominator. Now, in this our best example here, we have 1 over 4 plus 2 over 4. They both have 4 as their denominators. Now, how do we go about adding such a fraction? Now, if you're asked to add like fractions like this one that we have here, 1 over 4 plus 2 over 4, the only thing you'll be adding will be the numerator. You'll not be adding the denominators, all you'll be adding are the numerators. So for 1 over 4 plus 2 over 4, you just add the numerators, which is 1 plus 2, give you 3. You put your over sign, and then you now write one of these values of the denominators, any of the 4s, you just write 4, and then you're done. So please note, when you're given like fraction, you're asked to add like fractions, you do not add the denominators. All you do is what? You add the numerators, and then you choose one of the value of the denominators and write underneath it. Now, let's go to the second example, which is 4 over 5 minus 1 over 5. The same rule applies because these are like fractions. The only thing you subtract here are the numerators. You do not subtract the denominators. So now we have 4 minus 1, which will give you 3. Put your over sign. Then you choose one of the denominators, which is 5, and that will give you your answer. Very, very simple. Now let's go to the unlike fractions, the addition and subtraction of unlike fractions. And we know that unlike fractions are fractions that do not have the same value as their denominators. We have the number one example there, 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4. And you can see that we have the denominator here is 2 and the denominator here is 4. Now, one way you can add these fractions is by converting 1 or 2 of the denominators to like fractions. Here we have 2 and here we have 4. So what we do in this case is by converting one or both of them so that they will both have the same denominators and thus become like fractions. So in this case, in order for me to convert this so that it may look like this, what I do is I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So I'll say 1 over 2 times 2 over 2. 1 over 2, this is 1 over 2 times 2 over 2. And that will give me what? 2 over 4. And for those that know our equivalent fractions very, very well, we know that 2 over 4 is the same thing as 1 over 2 once it has been reduced or simplified. So this 2 over 4 is the same thing as 1 over 2. It has only changed its appearance, but it still maintains its value of 1 over 2. So now we'll now write our addition sign. I will now have our 1 over 4. So you can now see that we have converted this to this, thereby making the two fractions to be like fractions. So they are now like fractions, which makes addition very, very easy for us. So once again, what we do, we add only the numerator and we choose 1 from the denominator. So say 2 plus 1 is 3. We do not add the denominators. We only choose one of it and write 4. So this will be the answer to 1 over 2 plus 1 over 8 will equal to 3 over 4. Now, let's go to subtraction of unlike fractions. We have 5 over 8 minus 1 over 2. 1 over 2 5/8, they are unlike fractions because they have different denominators. So what do we do in this case? We convert one of them or both of them so that they will have the same numbers of denominators. So what we do here in this case, we have 5/8. I'm going to convert this so that I will have an 8. And what I do to do that is by multiplying both the numerator of this and the denominator of this fraction by 4. In this case, I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2 to then have our 2/4. But in this case, I'm going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 4. This will now give me 5/8 minus 4/8. And those of us that know what 4/8 is, when simplified, it will give you 1/2. When you simplify or reduce 4/8 to its lowest term, it will still give you 1/2. So we've only converted this to this form, but it still maintains its original value of 1/2. So you can now see that now, by this conversion, we have made these fractions to become like fractions. And so we can now easily subtract one from the other. So once again, we need to know that because of they are now like fractions, we only subtract the numerators. We do not subtract the denominators. So when you say 5 minus 4, it will give you 1 all over. You choose one of these, 1/8. So the answer of 5 minus 8 minus 1/2 will be 1/8. Now quickly, let's go to the last addition and subtraction of fraction that we want to look at, which will be the addition and subtraction of mixed fractions. And of course, we know what mixed fractions are. Mixed fractions are fractions that comprises of both whole numbers and proper fractions. So we have the first one, which is 3 1/2 plus 4 5/6. You can see this is a whole number, while this is a proper fraction. But here we also have another whole number and also a proper fraction. So now I want to add these two fractions together. So what do we do? Well, we add the whole numbers on one side. We bring the whole number out like 3 and 4. They are whole numbers. So we now say 3 plus 4. Then we now add the fractions on another side. This is a mixed number or a mixed fraction, which is 3 1/2 plus another mixed fraction, which is 4 5/6. So I was saying that one way you can go about adding them is you take away the whole numbers, or rather you bring out the whole numbers and add them on one side. Rearrange it in such a way that you add the whole numbers on one side, then you also add the fractions on the other side, just like this. So we have 3 plus 4 plus half, which is 1/2 plus 5/6. So now we can see this 3 plus 4 will give you 7, plus we have 1/2 plus 5/6. Now these two here, you can see that they are what? They are unlike fractions. So what you do is like what we've done here. You convert this so that its denominator will now be the same as this. So we can now add it very easily. So what do? To convert this so that it will have the same denominator as this, you do 7, you have in brackets, you have 1/2 times 3/3 plus 5/6. Let me create some more space. So now you now have your 7 plus this 1/2 times 3/3 will now give you 3/6 plus 5/6. Okay, so this is now what? It is now like fractions. This is now what? Like fractions. And we've already added the whole numbers. We've gotten 7 here. So now you can easily add this together. When you add this together, you're going to get 7. And then we're going to have, what we're going to have here will be plus 3 plus 5 will be what? 8 all over. We choose one of the 6. And we have our 6. But one thing you need to understand here is this. 8 over 6 is not what? Is not a proper fraction. In fact, it is an improper fraction. And we don't usually leave answers in improper fraction form. We leave our answers in proper fraction form. So in one of my videos, I showed us how to convert from mixed fractions to improper fractions, and from improper fractions to mixed fractions. So you can go and see that video and you get a better understanding. But for this example, we have 7 and we have 8 all over 6. So what we do now, we now divide 8 by 6, and that will now give us 1 remainder what? 2 all over 6. 1 remainder 2 all over 6. So now we'll now take that one whole number, add it to 7. It will now give you 8 2 all over 6. And that will be the answer, the final answer. Not exactly the final answer, because we still have to do what is called reduction to its lowest term. But at this point, you have completely added these fractions together successfully, and you've now gotten the correct answer. Now, let us look at the subtraction example of mixed fraction. Whole number 3 over 4 minus 4 whole number 2 all over 3. So once again, we can separate the whole numbers and say 7 minus 4. You can put it in brackets. And then we now say plus, because this and 2 belong to each other, we now say the fraction, we now say 3 over 4 minus what? 2 all over 3. Once again, you can see that these two are not like fractions. 3 over 4 minus 2 over 3, they are not like fractions. So what do? We convert them to like fraction. Unlike the other ones, in which I had only been multiplying one of the fractions to get like fraction. In this case, we cannot do that, because if I multiply, there's no way I will multiply 4 to get a fraction that will be having 3 as its denominator, and there's no way I'll multiply 3 to get a fraction that will have 4 as its denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both of them, so that at the end of the day, I'm going to get like fractions from both of them. So what I'll do here is I'll say 7 minus 4 plus, in bracket, I'll say 3 over 4 times 3 all over 3 minus 2 over 3 times 4 over 4. This will now give me 9 over 12 minus what? 8 over 12. So you can see I have converted both this and this to give me this and this. And you know that once this is reduced to its lowest term, it will give me this. And once this is also reduced to its lowest term, it will also give me this. So I've only changed their appearance, but their value remains the same. And you can see now they are also what? Now like fractions. So now I can now subtract 4 from 7 to have 3. And then I'll now say 9 all over 12 minus 8 over 12. They are like fractions, so I only subtract the numerator, which will give me 1, 9 minus 8 is 1. Then out of these two, I'll only choose 1, which is 12. So adding 3 plus 1 over 12 will now give me 3 whole number 1 over 12, which will now be the final answer. Now, I know that it may seem a very long process, so you may want to watch the video over and over again. You can do that and follow the process step by step and do lots of examples, and I'm sure you will finally understand and get the steps and the process down. So that's the end of the video for today, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. And if this video is very useful to you, why don't you just hit the like button, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell to notify you whenever I drop a next video. So thank you very much once again, and see you next time.